Geoff Adams here for the Hawks Nest. I'm with Gary Ervin. Gary, probably the most offense that you've played in terms of getting on the scoreboard since we've seen you back in Hawks colours. How do you feel?
I mean, I feel great. You know, obviously learning the plays and getting the system down packed. I mean, now I feel like I'm myself. I thought before during preseason, which you're just getting a feel of the guys again and trying to do things the right way.
And so you mentioned there the systems and learning all that. How is that coming back into it, and how you're working with Jahir to sort of help him get used to it as well?
The system is great. You know, obviously it's getting it through hands and it's playing together, and I think that's the biggest thing. And Jahir's been coming along great. You know, obviously he hasn't practiced in the last couple of weeks, but you know, obviously we needed him, but at the same time, it helped him to, sit down on the sideline and, study the plays even more. And as you can see tonight, he was fluid out there.
Brian, you guys were in the ascendancy, particularly in that first quarter. How did you see the second half unfold?
Yeah, definitely. We had great first and third quarters, but the second and fourth really let us down. We did a couple of things. We kind of got stuck in our zone in defense and didn't switch things up like we wanted to, and so that kind of got into a rhythm with a couple ball screens, and it made it tough for us.
And how do you think you guys are shaping up coming into this season?
Definitely, we're shaping up where we want to be. We just got to keep getting better. Offensively, we got what we wanted in the first half. In the third quarter, the fourth quarter kind of let us down. We stopped going to what we wanted to do, and defensively we kind of gave up a little bit and didn't push through in that fourth quarter. So just working on playing four quarters. I'm
here with Adam Ballinger. Adam, first proper game in Hawks colours. How did you feel?
I felt really good. Physically, I felt great. Felt loose coming into the game. I think everybody else did too. It's been a long preseason in some ways, and it's always good to get them out and get that first game, first win. First game, first win. Must be good.
Yeah, that's what we're after. Early wins are huge for us, especially with double headers. If we can win the game at home, it takes pressure off our game in Sydney now. We go up to Sydney tonight, play tomorrow night, and you say there's a little bit less pressure, which means we can just relax and hopefully that game, especially with a new team, when sometimes we don't know not every player knows every play just yet. We can just play with feel and just play a little bit looser, which is better.
Now, it was a really physical game, and you obviously came in there in parts backing up Luke and really providing a really tough battle in the front court. Was that part of the game plan? Did you expect that coming from a team like Townsville? Yeah, well, they're big and long too, in all positions. So they're always going to rebound well, but having Luke come in and play the way he does, he takes up so much space in there, and the rebound too it made a huge difference to our team. So has that changed your role at all, seeing he has been such a late addition to the team? Does that change what you do, or are you fairly happy with the role that you've got? Yeah, it puts me back into the role I'm probably most comfortable in, is maybe a stretch four and a shooter and getting in there every now and then, but that's his domain, and he's a big guy, so it helps me, to be honest. There's been some big recruitments over the off-season. You've picked up some big guys. How are they fitting in, and how has that affected the way that you play and your role in the system?
My role is pretty much yelling at everyone to know they're in the right spots for the new guys. We're coming along nicely. Someone like Luke Neville has only joined us, a couple of weeks ago, and he joined us earlier, but he's been out for quite a long time. So for him, he's seen it from the sideline. He's getting an understanding that way, which is good. So he could see it as well as do it. So he's learning in two different ways there. But we're still, when you get into a game, when everything rushes at you, you still get a little bit frantic. So for us, it's really about slowing it right down, running our system. And our system's smart enough to pick people apart, and that's when we get open shots. And how are you settling back to life in Wollongong?
I love it. My second home.
It's really nice to be back in Wollongong. I felt really good playing, and everything's familiar, and it's just a great place to live.
Thanks, Adam.
No problem.